Hey folks, this is Mark with OrientWatchUSA.com, and this is the Orient Speedtech Auto line. The SKUs for these watches are SDA05001B for the steel band and SDA05002B for the rubber. This is probably the most design-focused watch under the Orient line. And this watch is a co-production between Orient Watch along with Subaru Technica Institute, otherwise known as STI, and it's to commemorate the BRZ GT300 race car. Now, many of the design elements come directly from the GT300, but before we go into that, let's talk about the heart of all Orient watches, which is the movement. Now, the Speedtech is powered by Orient's in-house caliber 40R56, which is a self-winding mechanical. This movement is hackable and hand-windable using the crown. Now, the construction of this movement uses 22 jewels and has been finished on the top portion along with the bottom portion because there's an exhibition dial along with an exhibition case back. Now, other functionalities of this movement includes a power reserve indicator, which very appropriately works like a car fuel gauge. Looking at the dial, you'll notice how clear it is. Now, that's because you're seeing the watch through a sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective coating. Now, I'm going to talk a little more about that in a little bit. But now, this type of dial is what they call an exhibition or a cutout dial, which basically exposes the movements through a series of cuts. The middle center of the dial is dressed with carbon fiber, but I want to really point out how much I really like the Arabic index that they put on the inner bezel. I find that detail to complete this entire dial. Now, Orient used a power reserve indicator, which looks very much like a gauge from a car. And the 11 o'clock position of the power reserve indicator really works with this design. Now, the hands that Orient use, or at least the hour and minute hands, are silver tone and has white lume on it. But the second hand is black and red, and it's one of the best parts of this watch. Now, initially I thought, how could someone read a black hand on a carbon fiber dial? But that red tip makes all the difference. By the 3 o'clock marker, you'll see the Orient logo along with the Speedtech badge right on the dial. Now, that logo was designed that way to remind you of the logo plate found on the GT300. Now, go ahead and flip it around, and you'll notice that you can see the movement via the exhibition case back. It's always fun to be able to see the movement, but on this watch, you can choose which side you prefer. The case back is screwed down by design. Now, let's take a look at the profile of this case, and you can see one of the best parts of the design. Notice between the bezel and the crown, and you can see a blue ring. Now, this ring is the same color of Subaru's race car. Now, remember how I was going to talk to you about the anti-reflective coating again? Well, anti-reflection, even though it's a fantastic thing, it has a small blue tint to it. It doesn't matter which brand that you buy, most anti-reflective coatings are going to have a slight little bit of blue, but with this watch, it just completely works. Orient included the crown, which is screwed down, by the way, by the 2 o'clock index. But what I want to let you know is the knob at the 4 o'clock index, it controls the inner bezel. One other thing to note is that the screw down crown does have the Orient logo on it. Orient added 5 screws on the case, 4 on the top and 1 on its side, and really add to that racing motif. Now, the portion of the case that connects to the band includes a little bit of carbon fiber, which resembles the air vent on the front spoiler. The band is where these two models differentiate. The rubber band has quite a few additional design features, Now, if you take a look at the top of the rubber band, you'll notice there's some indentations. Let's take a look at the picture of the car, and by the side fender, you'll notice that same design on the car that you see on the band. Now, if you look at the end of the band, you'll notice that they modeled that after the hood of the race car. Now, take a look at the rubber strap loop, and you can see a beautiful Speedtech logo. Now, on the other hand, we have the solid stainless steel band. It uses 3 pieces per link, but what I have to say, it's got this beautiful, nice edge sharpness to it. It's not pointed by any way, you're not going to cut yourself, but it's got this really nice defined edge. Now, that stainless steel band secures around your wrist using a folding clasp, which is deployed using 2 buttons, which comes with a safety. Alright folks, so this is Mark with OrientWatchUSA.com with the Orient Speedtech Auto. Hope to see you wearing one of these soon.